Robyn. Hi, and I'm here with my co-host, none other than Tyler Jordan in the Mecca of NASCAR, the Mecca, the hub, where all the action happens in North Carolina. Tyler Jordan, how are you?
I'm doing absolutely great. I'm so excited to be here again with you for another edition of Open Rock.
You know, I have to ask you a question because we have to start right off the bat on the breaking news that happened today, and that was Dale Jr. is not coming back anytime soon, I see.
Yeah, he's not. He's got a lot going on right now, and like I said before, I think it's a good thing that he's taking a step back. And look, there's a lot of people talking, saying, well, he's not coming back ever, or they've got rumors going around, this and that. And I think we need to give the guy a break. Everybody's just hammering down on him, and he's trying to recover.
Well, there are rumors out there that he may possibly want to retire. And you and I talked about this off air. He is not his dad. He's never claimed to be his dad. Do you think there is a slim possibility that maybe this is his way of retiring and then just come back, be married, start a family, and just run his, organization, Junior Motorsports?
I think if Junior decides he wants to step out of it, that now is a good time for him to do so. If he does come back, I don't see him being extremely competitive. I don't see him going for a championship. He's kind of missed his prime for a championship, and I don't think he's hung the helmet up yet. I think that, you may see, him run a little in the back and maybe go to a part-time schedule eventually and then just kind of dwindle his way out. But I do think it's coming. I do think he's slowing down. And like you said, he's getting the whole family mindset now. He's thinking about getting married, him and Amy. And, I do think that Earnhardt's slowing down. I really do.
Okay, I have a question to ask you because this is something that happened, everybody's been talking about since last night, and that was because of the attendance, which was abysmal, literally abysmal, at the Brickyard 400. And that was a race without Dale Jr. in it, but they put Jeff Gordon in it, and Tony Stewart was racing as well, and yet it was still abysmal. What happens to NASCAR? What happens to the ticket sales once Dale Jr. is gone, Tony Stewart is gone, and Jeff Gordon is no longer, filling in for somebody? What happens? I do not see anything good happening, honestly. I'm surprised.
I hate to say it. I'm a NASCAR fan. I live it, I breathe it. I worked in it. I've made my living around NASCAR. And, this past Sunday, they had all the stars aligned for a good show. Brickyard, Tony Stewart's last race, Jeff Gordon's making a comeback, and nobody cared. Nobody showed up. I will say the heat did play a factor. It was ridiculously hot in Indianapolis. But the racing sucks. Come on, NASCAR. The racing sucks. It's not fun to sit and watch one lead change under green for the whole entire race. Kyle Busch put on the clinic, just like he always does. And I think there was maybe 12 laps that he didn't lead. The racing sucks, and we've got to address that.
And I got to ask you this too, Tyler, because you've been in the business. I've been covering NASCAR forever. People loved to hate Dale Sr. People love to hate DW. People love to hate Rusty Wallace. You name it, we can go down the line. There's always been those big, huge rivalries. You know what I mean? That captured the heart of the fans. You either loved these guys or you hated these guys. You know what I mean? But with Kyle Busch, he doesn't have the charisma, you know what I mean, or that crazy, wacky type of personality that gives you that, comfortable feeling that, okay, I hate that Dale Earnhardt Sr. is winning everything, but I can't hate the guy. You know what I mean? It's like there is no superstar. Where's the new superstar of NASCAR? I do not see that coming, and that worries me quite a bit.
Yeah, it sucks. We don't have a bad boy, so to say, anymore. Dale Sr., he was the intimidator, always will be. Whether you loved him or you hated him, he was looking for the 3 car on Sunday. And, Darrell Waltrip's the same way, old loud-ass mouth, he's going to tell you what he thinks, and then he's going to keep talking about it after you've already got the point, But we don't have a bad boy anymore,
No.
All these guys are just cookie cutters. I mean, no personality. And Kyle Busch is a will man. I mean, he's going to get out there and he's going to win races. He sweats another weekend. But he does not have the personality to keep NASCAR going the way it used to be.
No, I don't believe that he does. I really don't, and I know that sounds sad. I mean, you can't deny the guy's talent. You cannot deny his talent. He's got a wonderful talent. But there's a disconnect, I think, and maybe it's because we have seen him, a lot of us NASCAR fans have seen him since he was, plus he goes back in Xfinity and he goes back in the truck series, and the things that he says, I love stealing candy from a baby. Stuff like that, it's stuff that he has said in the past. It's the way he has conducted himself in the past that has really turned people off on him to the point where I don't even care how good his talent is. I will never like him. I'm one of those people. It's like I'm allowed to have this opinion. I'm not a broadcaster on, I'm not calling a race, so I can say however I feel on radio. I'm sorry. Kyle, I will never like you unless you and I sit down and talk and I get to meet you personally. We have an hour and a half rubber room type of conversation where I can tell him exactly how I feel about him, and maybe he can change my mind. But there's nothing that's going to make me change my mind with that. But it is kind of sad for all of you. Kyle Busch swept. He won the Xfinity race. He won Brickyard 400 yesterday. Nobody had an answer for him. There was really no shakeup in the standings at all. Let me see if I've got the results from last night really quick. We got Kyle Busch at first, Matt Kenseth second, Jimmy Johnson third, Denny Hamlin fourth. I'm reading down this list, and there is no superstar here. There is no superstar here that's going to save this sport if Junior leaves. Kevin Harvick 6th, Joey Logano 7th, Martin Truex Jr. 8th, Austin Dillon 9th, Paul Menard 10th, Tony Stewart 11th. Tony Stewart's 11th. He was way up there in the top 5 for a while. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 12th, Jeff Gordon 13th, Chris Buescher 14th, Chase Elliott 15th. Let me do the standings real quick. I don't even know if there was a change, a shift that much, and no, it really wasn't. Kevin Harvick first, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch. I love that. I want to go down here. I want to skip all the way down to 15th because Kyle Larson is on the bubble, people. Kyle Larson is on the bubble. He is a driver that we are seeing up in the top 5, up in the top 10, almost every single race now, and that's pretty damn cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've been calling it for quite a while now. I think personally that Kyle is the best class of talent that we've got coming up. I know there's a lot of Chase Elliott fans out there, but Chase can drive, but in my opinion, if it wasn't for his dad, he wouldn't be where he's at today. Kyle Larson's a will man, and he's went above and beyond. Eldora, he had by far the crappiest truck out there, it seemed like. This guy was riding around. He was going backwards, every time he hit gas, it was like somebody was coming around him, and he still pulled the win off, and he's a real man, that's what he is, and Chase Elliott, in my opinion, he's not it, he's not the whole savior that everybody was making him out to be, and right now he's just doing a good job of trashing cars, and I really do hate that.
I hear you, and it's funny because somebody said, watch for Kyle Larson to possibly take that seat in 2017 for Hendrick Motorsports. They would not be surprised that it's Kyle Larson that does that. I can see it. I can actually see it. I want to give a quick rundown of people that we're going to have on tonight, the drivers we're going to have on. We're getting dirty. We're getting dirty tonight because not only are we starting off at the Madhouse, but then we're getting dirty. And then we're also going back to the Cape World Truck Series. So tonight we got Derek Stoltz on. He's coming on in a few minutes. He actually drove a modified at Bowman Gray Stadium this weekend. So happy to see Derek back in a car. And he took on the modifieds. Then we're also going to have Brady and Brady Boswell. He is actually filling in for John West Townley in the Camping World Truck Series, making a name for himself there. And Davey Hamilton Jr., this kid was the king of the wing in 2015. He was the champ for them. And, the kid was sending me everything that he drives in. And it's crazy. The kid drives everything, absolutely everything. And Brady also, just to let you know, he's also drives in the ARCA series as well. So we're looking forward to talk to them. I love when we talk to dirt drivers. And I love when we talk to the local drivers because, I think Bowman Gray had more people in the stands this weekend than I think Indy did. I'm beginning to think that. So you never know. But also, want to let everybody know, please keep an eye on our Facebook page. We have an announcement coming for August 5th and possibly August 6th that has to do with Bowman Gray. It's going to be a big deal. WBLZ is getting involved. Double points night at Bowman Gray, and it's going to be really, really fun. So look for that announcement. Were you able to go to Bowman Gray this weekend, Tyler?
I was not, but I actually had quite a few people there, and I was getting lap-by-lap updates, and it was definitely a wild one this weekend.
Yeah, oh yeah. I know there was some controversy. What's a weekend without it?
Oh, as always.
It got a little crazy. But Derek Stoltz was not involved in the craziness, and actually, Burt Myers ended up winning the modified race. But you know what? He had a lot of really nice things to say about Derek, and I read the article, and Burt really thought that Derek was going to be somebody to contend with. So I'm pretty excited to talk to Derek. He has not rode all year, and what class is he normally in, Tyler? I know he's not.
He's usually in the sportsman.
Yeah, the sportsman class. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. And our own people's champ, Brian Wall, he came in second. Taylor Robyn was ahead of him, and he said he could have taken her out. He could have taken her out at any time, and he chose not to. And I think that's why Brian Wall is called the people's champ. He could have taken her out, and he could have gone for it, and he didn't. So that was a good time. The thing about Derek is I wonder what made him decide to switch from sportsman to modified. I can't wait to talk to him, and we can get that answer from him. But Tyler, do you think what we're trying to do is possibly do live reports from Bowman Gray? And that would be on August 5th, August 6th. WBLZ is going to set it all up. We'll have free T-shirts to send out. It'll be pretty fun. And we're going to get, I think we got 2 pit reporters that have already agreed to do it. And we'll get you out there, Tyler, because you're our host if you can do it for us. This is kind of my way of asking Tyler. Yeah, that was my way of asking Tyler on air so he can't say no.
You can tell me in, I'll be there.
Yeah. If I tell him, hey, dude, we got this big setup happening, and we already know that we've got some drivers lined up that are willing to have us, go into their pits, during the day and watch them interact with the fans, and it'll all be on Facebook Live, and so it's not going to be something you have to listen to. You can just be on your Facebook, you can see it, and you can watch it happening in real time, so it'll be really cool. I know that Robyn Snell did a really great getting to know you with Andy Suits, and it was funny. She was asking him some pretty funny questions. One question I loved that he gave an answer to, and that's he's a Bruce Springsteen fan. And I was like, yes, Andy Suits is a Springsteen fan. I love it. So that was pretty cool, and I love that she does that because it gives the fans a chance to know who the drivers are, off the track, But so tell me, you were saying that there were some rumors going around about Junior, and these are just rumors, people. These are not facts. These are not anything that we are reporting as real. These are just the rumor mill. So what do you hear, Tyler, in the rumor mill when it comes to Dale Jr.?
Unfortunately, whenever the spokesperson in NASCAR, they have an issue, everybody's going to talk, and, everybody knows it's a load of crap as soon as they hear it. But, rumor mill's definitely turning. Everybody's got their own little opinion that they've got to throw around the garage areas. And, there's been everything from, he's got a more serious problem than he actually does. You know, he's saying it's possibly a brain tumor, possibly something as far as that goes. I've heard a drug problem that NASCAR is trying to throw under the rug and say, oh, no, he's got a concussion. Oh, I mean, I'm telling you, it's everything. You know, and do I believe it? No.
That would be a normal thing for people to think about. That would be another normal thing. Okay.
Yeah, and, you know, there's obviously the thing going around. He's just ready to quit and he's ready to get married. If you can think of it, somebody's saying it. And like I said, guys, don't hold me liable to this because this is definitely not factual information. But it's everything. You know, everybody's got an opinion. If it was a Jamie McMurray or somebody like that, or John West Townley, he's currently out under concussion symptoms. So, you know, nobody's talking about that. You know, you got your face in NASCAR is having the problem, and you know, everybody wants to talk about it, and you know, nobody quite gives the guy respect and give him a little bit of time off and some privacy about it. But that's just the way it goes when you're in the spotlight.
Yeah, no, I understand, and yeah, he's not reporting that any of these are true. But you know, it's funny because I was thinking. One of the first, and this is just me thinking out loud, I was thinking, is there a bigger problem here? Whether it's medical or just career-wise, is there something, you know, is this going to be a catalyst, a way for him to retire possibly? You know, hey, you can use your health as an excuse because nobody's going to be upset with you. Nobody's going to call you a quitter if it's a health reason. You know what I mean? Not that I think Junior Nation would ever call Junior a quitter because they won't. Junior Nation, Dale Jr. could literally do whatever the hell he wants, and Junior Nation would figure out a way to wrap it up all pretty and put it in a bow, and he would still be fine. But, you know, I think that NASCAR really needs to worry because I've never seen a sport die. I've never seen a sport that we used to all watch all the time sort of like die and go away. Like, how does that happen? And I see it happening, and it scares me because I love this sport. You love this sport. All of us that are, you know, involved in this show, we love this sport for one reason or another, whether we were born into it or we're just fans of it. And to see what's happening is pretty damn scary.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And unfortunately, I do think that NASCAR is on their last leg, and I do think it's time for them to kind of revamp, you know, their schedule, revamp the places we're going to, you know, kind of get back to basics, get back to what got us going to start with. You know, we came from dirt tracks, we came from short tracks. Indianapolis, you know, is definitely a prestigious place. Don't get me wrong, that was an awesome place to go to, but we don't have any business there. We've got one of the best short tracks in the country, literally right behind the backstretch, and for whatever reason, they pulled the Xfinity Series from it and put them on the big track. You know, these guys need to be back on the short track. That's where the action happens. That's where, you know, there's close racing, you know, door-to-door racing, and that's what the fans want to see. I think that if we get more short tracks and get away from the mile and a half and get away from, you know, Indianapolis and a lot of the places like that, you'll see better racing.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. You know, it's funny because, you know, up in the Northeast, everybody loves the modifieds. You know, I know that, you know, Bowman Gray, everybody loves the modifieds there as well. But for those of you who don't know, for those of you who don't live in the Northeast, modifieds are like the biggest thing ever, you know, and they love they're not big in, I mean, they're not as big into dirt racing as they are into modified racing. And, you know, any weekend night, you're going to be able to go to Star, or you're going to be able to go to Lee, you're going to be able to go to Thompson, you can go to Oswego, and you're going to Waterford Speedway, and they're going to be racing the modifieds. You've got, you know, we've talked about this before, we've talked about Doug Dunleavy up there doing everything he possibly can to keep the modifieds relevant. And it's hard. It's hard for him to do it. It's hard for these modified drivers to do it. You know what I mean? And they look at, when you look at someone like Andy, you look at someone, and Andy Jankowiak, and you look at someone like Ryan Preece that comes down from the Northeast, and they want to race, you know, the guys down south. And, you know, but, you know, today we find out that Stewart House Racing is going to go full-time in Xfinity next year, but something tells me that Xfinity driver is not going to be an asphalt driver. We know Tony. We know how much Tony loves dirt. I think Tony's going to grab somebody off the dirt track and put him in asphalt. What do you think?
I totally agree with you because, I mean, I've said it before, and yet our best drivers come from dirt track racing. Dirt track racing shows so much more control. I mean, dirt racing is car control. That's all it is. And once you get that down pat, you are a 10 times better asphalt racer. And a lot of these guys that's coming from dirt, you know, you see your Kyle Larsons, Rico's figuring it out a lot too. I mean, it's got a learning curve he's going through, but he's figuring it out. All of these dirt guys that you see, your Christopher Bell, all these guys are coming in and they're dominating. I mean, they're driving circles around these guys, and the local dirt tracks is where your rising stars are.
Exactly. I agree with you. I absolutely 100% agree with you. And, you know, I look at someone like a Cruz Skinner. You know, Cruz Skinner, I have a feeling he may end up in a Camping World Truck Series truck next year. I really do. I think that there's going to be somebody that's going to pluck him out, and they're going to stick him, you know, in a truck and to see how he does. You know, so it makes you wonder, is the K&N Series, is that worth it? Or what should drivers do? I mean, we have two drivers on tonight, right? We've got, you know, Brady on and we've got Davey on. You know, Brady is out there on asphalt, and then you've got Davey out there on dirt. You know, so it's like, where should a driver go? Where can they go to get noticed? And I don't know if Derek is having a problem trying to get in, and hopefully if he is, we'll have him on next week. But a question I want to ask you, Tyler, is what does a young driver do? Should a young driver try to do well with both? Try and do ARCA and do the dirt series? I mean, what can they do to get? I don't even know what to do. You know, I'm trying to wrap my question around this. What if the teams, okay, grabbed a bunch of class of drivers that they thought could possibly be qualified for Camping World Truck Series, whether they be from dirt or from asphalt? They all go to North Carolina during the off season. They all do workouts, okay? They all what you would call in football workouts. They're all in Wood Brothers and Hendrick Motorsports, Roush Fenway, Gibbs, you name it. They are trying out these guys on a track, see how they drive, and possibly have a draft. What if that happened? That would take money out of the equation. Completely out of the equation. It would not matter how much money you have, you know what I mean, to try to get into the Camping World Truck Series. Your talent would be what would get you drafted. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. You know, I've said that for years, you know, that I think it's a shame that NASCAR is nothing but corporate business anymore. And that's what it is. You know, a lot of people don't realize that. You know, they go to your short tracks and they see these guys and they think, oh, well, you know, Kevin Harvick or somebody else will be running circles around them. And no, that's not necessarily the case. All these guys, you know, they've hit the business side of it just right, and that's how they've landed to be where they are. NFL, MLB, you know, these sports, you know, you don't have to be a rich fan going in. You know, there's a draft, you know, that they get the talent. And unfortunately, that's something that NASCAR doesn't do. There is a few different programs. Peak Stock Car Challenge is one. You know, they'll do it once every couple of years. And they may accept 12 drivers. And Michael Waltrip used to be over it. I'm not sure who's over it now. And they have, you know, everybody come to one hub, and they drive. And, you know, they supposedly give them a shot at getting in a ARCA car or something of that sort. They'll usually give them an ARCA ride and just a little clunker ride around car, so they say they ran an ARCA race. And then after that, you know, it's usually, well, you had your 15 minutes of fame, but we're going to go on to somebody that's bringing $2 million with them. And that's what's so bad about this sport. You know, I love it dearly, but it's a rich man's game, and it don't matter if you're racing Friday night racing or if you're racing on Sunday. It's all corporate.
Yeah, see, and you just brought it up, the IROC series. Remember the IROC series? Why not take the IROC series, right? Continue doing the IROC series, but you take these young guys and stick them in there, and they're trying out during the season. You know what I mean? They're trying out. Like, they can say, hey, we're going to draft this driver. We're going to pluck someone like a Cruz Skinner. We're going to pluck someone like Davey Hamilton. We're going to pluck somebody up, like a Brady. We're going to stick them in an IROC car. We're going to do four races, IROC races during the season, and out of all of that talent, you know what I mean? Richard Childress Racing, Hendrick Winters, they can hire these guys. You know what I mean? They can hire these guys or draft them, whatever it is that they want to do. I mean, I know people are pissed off because we do the chase as it is right now, and that's too much like football. Well, I'm sorry. It's not working the way it is now, and it's there's something wrong with the sport. And if we possibly can see that there is talent that's coming from local tracks throughout the country, and these are real talent. This isn't money talent. This is real talent. And if we, the spectators, the fans, are seeing these guys, and we're like, holy crap, why doesn't that kid ever ride? You know what I mean? And to find out it's all about the money. Well, if it's a draft-type process, I mean, that would be golden. These kids don't have to be millionaires. They don't have to run around, trying to squelch, $100 or $500 from this person and that person in order to get tires to run that weekend. I don't know. I think they need to do something drastic. Or what fans are saying, don't do anything at all. Bring everything back to before there was a chase in the first place. Do you agree with that or not? To bring it back to when there was never a chase.
Well, in my opinion, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And NASCAR was at its prime, late 90s, early 2000s.
That was when Dale Sr. was alive, though.
Exactly. In the senior era, NASCAR was bigger than they'd ever imagined it being. That was when you still had your good old boys. They were out there racing.
Yeah.
They like Senior. He'd win a race on Sunday, feed the cows Monday morning.
Right.
Everybody saw that interview a million times. That's the way it really was. But that's not something that's for TV. Now these guys, like I said, cookie cutter people. And they come in, they get flying in their private jet, all this crap, and they stay in their motor home all weekend. They get out and drive a car around, and then they're going to get paid millions and millions of dollars. I don't like it. They brought the chase in to try to shake things up. They tried to make something different, and that was not the answer. They need to go back to what brought them to the peak of the sport. That's the only way that I think that we're going to get better.
I agree. I mean, I 100% agree with you. We can no longer relate to any of these drivers. We can't. I don't relate to any of them. I'm not a millionaire. You know what I mean? And like you said, that, we saw even though Dale Earnhardt Sr. was a millionaire many times over, but he still did the good old boy things. I know that, who was it and I was actually laughing my ass off. I saw a video of Clint Boyer saying, well, this is what I do on Mondays, and they showed him in his little tractor, okay? And he was he was walking around in his little farm area. I did not believe it for a second. I'm sorry, Clint. Your hands were not dirty. Your fingernails were clean. There is no way in hell you bailed hell that day. And he had his little kid with him, okay? So it was, look it up, everybody. Look it up. Last week, Clint Boyer. Look for the video. Google it. It's Clint Boyer trying to show all of you that he's a farmer. I didn't believe it at all. I think it was a publicity stunt. I do not believe that Clint Boyer bails hay. I don't believe it. It's sorry, Clint. I don't. And unless you're going to invite me to your house and you can show me that you have farmer hands, that's when I'll believe you. But I didn't believe it, and you're absolutely right. We don't relate to any of this. You know what? Oh, my God, I just thought of something, Tyler. Remember when we were saying how Dale Jr. is extremely reclusive now at the track?
Yes, ma'am. And, one of the reasons why that these drivers don't have the personalities anymore, a lot of people may not realize it, but every February, the week before the Daytona 500, NASCAR has their rookie meeting. And, I've got the emails, I've got the invites, I've been, all this thing in Daytona. And all they do is they're bringing every one of these upcoming rookies, no matter what division that they're going into, they bring them in and they set them down. And for 4 or explain to you, okay, this is what you do as far as marketing goes. This is the way you are in front of a camera. This is the way you are when you're being interviewed. And this is what you can say, this is what you can't say. And that's why you see this bland, vanilla-flavored driver everywhere you go. And it's a shame, I mean, even the old guys now, they've had to calm down so much. Dale Jr. used to be fun. He used to be out carrying on, raising Cain, having a hell of a time. Now, like you said, he's so laid back. He keeps to himself so much. And, you never see the guy. You hardly ever see him. And, it's just ridiculous. Tony Stewart, he used to be more than outspoken. And, every now and then, you'll see a flash of the old Tony. But you don't get to see it as much anymore.
No, you're absolutely right, and God, you're so right. You think of when you think of the personalities that we had the Darrell Waltrips, we even had Neil Bonnet, we had the Davy Allisons, we had the Benny Parsons, we had Fireball Roberts. You had all of these guys that had these bigger than life personalities, and you could relate to them, you know what I mean? And I can't relate to one driver. There's not one driver that drives on Sunday that I can relate to. Not one.
Yeah.
They have no idea what it's like for us regular folk who are living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have a clue.
The thing about it, these old guys that everybody could relate to, living paycheck to paycheck is what they've done. During the week, they were turning wrenches at a garage in Kannapolis, North Carolina. They were out on a farm. They were working. And they would leave out, and they drove their car to the racetrack. They went to the dealership, they bought their car, and they said, okay, well, this is going to be my race car, but during the week, I'm going to have to drive it back and forth to work. And that's the way it was. That's what NASCAR was, real America. And everybody was on the same level. They didn't feel like they were better than anybody else. They just wanted to race. And, whenever people paid attention to it, they loved it. They ate it up. They wanted to be connected with the people that were cheering for them. And it's not the case at all anymore.
Right. I mean, we're not saying you all don't deserve your money. We're not saying that. We're just saying, okay, we know you have money, but can you sort of, change your attitude a little bit? Sort of, you know what I mean? So, can you get off your pedestal just a tad and come on down and hang out with us, us regular folk, and make us feel like we're part of your family? And I that's another thing we talk about, that they're not around. They're not around. And I don't know if it's because of things that are happening in the world today, if there's more security. And I'm going to ask you this question because I want people to be on the lookout. There's probably going to be an article coming out soon. And somebody had broached a question to me, and I'm not going to say who it is because it's a writer. And he and I are going to put together an article. And it's about what's been happening in the country right now, and in regards to the shootings of police officers, as well as police brutality or unfortunate incidences where African American men that aren't armed have been shot. Okay, so all of that, we all know what all that is. We all know it's been happening. We all know we've been plagued by it, and we don't know when the next issue is going to happen. And I have to wonder, because I'm not from the South. I didn't grow, and I'm not saying this is a blanket statement, people. I'm not saying this is a blanket statement at all. This is not a blanket statement. But I am going to say that in the past, this has been happening for how long, Tyler? Like a month? With all of this happening? Okay, so it's been happening within a month's time. In a matter of 3 weeks, I have lost at least 65, 70 friends on Facebook. Why? Why have I lost those friends? Reason being, because either I could not handle seeing the blatant racism, or they could not handle me saying, can we please all love one another and get along? You know? And I know that the people like Martin Truex Jr., the people like Matt Kenseth, people like Kevin Harvick came from California, came from the Midwest. You know what I mean? And we were maybe some of us were raised a little differently. You know what I mean? And I'm not making blanket statements. But we were raised a little differently, you know? And I'm wondering if, because some of the fans that I've seen have been so vocal, you know what I mean? And in their rhetoric in regards to it's all the black man's problem, you know what I mean? And they use code words. Some of them use code words, and it's pretty easy to figure out what they're trying to say. When I see someone saying it's all the Nigerian people, rather than coming out and saying the N-word, okay, there's a problem, okay? And I'm wondering if the people like me, okay, who I'm offended when I see something like that, I'm offended by that, I'm wondering if those fans are saying, I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to be a part of this sport where there's this type of divisiveness. Do you wonder if that may somehow play a part? Maybe just a little? Because there have been days where I've literally been on the edge, where I've called my friends, I've called Michaela, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't talk about NASCAR when 95% of my timeline has racist stuff all over it. I don't know what to do. And she's the one that said to me, Robyn, you can hit unfriend. You can hit block. You have that power to do that. You know? Am I wrong? Am I on the right track here? I ask you because you're down there in the South. Tell me, what do we do? I mean, can this play a small part in it? Maybe? Of fans walking away?
You know, the thing about it, you know, there is so much hate in the country and in the whole world right now, and it's absolutely ridiculous. You know, I'm in the heart of the Deep South, you know.
Yeah.
And racism went out 50, 60 years ago, people.
Yep.
I mean, there's no point in all this. We hadn't had this problem. I mean, it's been forever. I mean, this problem came up within the past couple of months, and I don't understand why. You know, you've got everyone on edge. You know, you've got your African Americans are on edge. All your police officers are on edge. I mean, everybody, no matter what race, is on edge. I've lived in my community for my whole life. Never had a problem. Within the past week, there's been 3 murders and a gas bomb went off in a Walmart. All within 25 miles from my house. And like I said, I've lived here all my life, and this has never happened. I'm not sure what is going on. I know that a lot of people like to stir stuff up and like to be a Facebook gangster, so to speak. They love to talk about it on the internet, and all this does is brew everything up. So, like you know, I've been losing friends left and right. You know, I stay out of it. I hate that it happens. I really do. But if all I see on my timeline is people, you know, consistently talking like, oh, down with the police, or, you know, stuff like this, you know, I don't want to see that crap anymore. Exactly. And it's gone. And with our sport, you know, unfortunately, politically correctness has had a huge toll on our sport. Not only recently, but within the past year or two. And it's really affected, you know, a lot of what can happen and what can't happen, and, you know, stuff that nobody would have batted an eye out 5 years ago is now getting people $25,000, $30,000 fines. And
exactly. Yeah, well, that's different. That's like so different than what we're talking about. You know, what we're talking about is blatant racism. That would never be acceptable anywhere. But what you're saying is true. Just the simple opinion of a driver saying, I can't stand this track, gets him a $15,000 fine. You know?
Yeah, and like I said, it seems like this, you know, things keep constantly spiraling. You know, somebody will say one thing, and then 5 people take it 5 different ways.
Yeah.
And everyone searches for the negativity in everything that's said, and then, you know, somebody can say something that's completely innocent, and then all of a sudden 4 people turn around calling them a racist for no reason.
Exactly.
And, you know, that it continues to just spiral hate, and it keeps building, and that's whenever you see these
Michael Jordan actually wrote a piece, very well written, and he also donated $1 million to not only to the NAACP, but only to a certain fraction of the NAACP, and that was, and he also did it for a police charity as well, to where, and they were only chapters of those charities to where they were programs designed to help both communities get along. Okay, so it wasn't a blanket. $1 million goes to the NAACP. $1 million just goes to the police fund. No, he stated specifically, this $1 million on this side is going to go towards, let's have a dialogue. You know what I mean? And on this side, let's not only have a dialogue, but let's see how we should, possibly not shoot and ask questions later. So if you have the opportunity, please, please, please look up Michael Jordan, Google it today. You will find it, read it, and you will see that he's on the side of all of us, every single one of us. He is on all of our sides, including the police, just as much as the police as anybody else. I implore you to please read that. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We have a brand new commercial. It was really, really fun making it. And Tyler, we're gonna get one. We're working on Tyler soon too. So Michaela, play that commercial, my love, and we're gonna be right back.
For me, it's racing. It's being at the racetrack where you can hear the roll of thunder that is the engines, the smell of rubber in the air. This passion for racing, it's in my blood. I was born into it.
Who does Casey Kane have to blow in order to get a good engine?
Monday. Join Tyler Jordan and Robyn Vandenberg as they cover all things racing with pit reporters spanning the globe. Bump and Run Radio, 630 on WBLZ Sports.
And we are back with our very first guest tonight, Brady Boswell. Now, Brady is also the driver of the 98 ARCA series for the Mason Mitchell Motorsports car, and he's also filling in for John West Townley for the Camping World Truck Series. It is so great to have you on, Brady. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, we're a little leery. We're a little like, what's going on with Dale Jr.? Have you heard the news?
I know. What's going on? Tell us about it.
Okay, well, there's so many rumors out there, it's crazy, but it doesn't look like he's going to be back for Watkins Glen, and it may be a little more. So we're getting all these little cryptic messages saying, well, I'm gonna update you next week, maybe, about the Glen. We've got people thinking he wants to retire. So does that mean, Brady, you ready to get in and sub for junior since Gordon can't come back?
I would love to do that. That'd be a great opportunity for sure. But I hope he's able to come back. He's still got a lot left in his career, and I know a lot of fans are rooting for him to get well soon.
I have to ask you, how awesome is it to be driving in the Camping World Truck Series? I know I know that you're doing it for John West Townley, but at the same time you're getting your name out there.
Definitely. Well, first off, I have to just thank Opinion the opportunity. There's a lot of drivers that they could choose, and they chose me for the race at Eldora. And we had a great opportunity. It was a lot of fun. I got great experience. It was my first time in the Camping World Truck and on dirt. And
wow.
I'm not going to lie, I had a lot of fun on the dirt, and I would love to do it again if I had the opportunity to come up here in the future.
That's going to be crazy. That was the first time you ever drove in dirt, and you had. What was going through your mind when you went around that first corner and you're drifting? Were you like, "Holy hell, what am I going to do?"
For sure, I held on to the steering wheel and turned back right really far for the first time. It was just so different, on asphalt you can drive off in the corner really hard, and the car
right.
pretty much is going to stick, and you get back in the gas. And this was almost felt like I was on ice the entire time. It's a lot. I give props to the dirt drivers that, they're constantly sawing on the wheel back and forth, trying to make the best laps, and I give them props for sure.
That's awesome. Tyler?
Yeah, Brady, this past week was your real first appearance on a big stage, and like you said, it was on dirt for the first time. preparation did you have to do to lead up to the good run you had?
Definitely a lot of preparation. I was watching the Eldora races in the previous years and over, just trying to figure out what I can learn before I got there. And I learned a lot, especially watching when Austin Dillon won. And I even got on the Camping World truck on iRacing. And I mean, it wasn't on dirt, but I still got in the truck on iRacing on my simulator and went out on a track and just to try to get as much as feel and stuff as I could before we got there. So definitely a lot of preparation.
And, we have a lot of drivers that, they say they prep a lot using iRacing. How much does iRacing actually help you?
It helps a lot, for sure, especially when you've never been to a new track and you're going to a new track. Especially for me this year in the ARCA series, I've been using it a lot for different places like Pocono and Michigan and Iowa. Just to go out there and make those first few laps. And I know it's not being in the car, but iRacing does a great job laser scanning the tracks and making sure they can provide as much as they can for us drivers to learn what we can before we get there.
Is there one track that, that you've raced in that where you're like, oh, except for Eldora, of course, that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know it was going to be this hard? Or is there one coming up where you're afraid you're going to be like, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this?
Definitely Pocono. When I got out on Pocono, I was like, man, this thing is really big, and we were going pretty fast there. It was one of the first intermediate tracks that I've been on where I was going that fast, and I struggled a lot in the tunnel turn back there, and I actually did crash my primary car in practice, but we were able to make a strong run back. Mason Mitchell Motorsports did a good job rallying back and getting the backup car just as strong, if not better, than the primary car.
Oh, that's cool. Now, you do drive an ARCA. I have to ask this question because, Tyler and I were talking about it earlier with, the dirt drivers and now that you have experienced dirt, seem to be getting a lot more attention now. Do you think that as well as ARCA, do you think you might want to possibly put yourself in a sprint car and see what it's like to, to ride in the dirt, maybe, run a race or two?
I would love to try it. Any opportunities I can get, I will hop in a race car tomorrow. I think that's any race car driver's, mindset. If we get opportunities, we love to jump in them. So, I mean, I had a lot of fun and had a blast, like I said, and I'd love to get back on the dirt tomorrow if I could, just because I've never been on it before except for in Eldora.
Tyler?
Yeah, Brady, what kind of plans do you have as far as going forward? I know you're racing full-time in the ARCA series. Are you looking into next year yet or possibly a couple years down the road?
We haven't really focused on anything in the 2017 season or anything like that. Just focusing on these two races coming up, Kentucky and then Kansas there in the ARCA series. And we haven't really focused or anything like that for next year, but definitely thinking about future plans. Would love to run some Camping World Truck Series races next year, or maybe Xfinity races, and even some ARCA races again. We just got to weigh out our pros and cons and figure out what's best for me and just how much backing I can get for me to be able to go farther in my...
We were talking about that earlier, Brady. We were talking about how it seems that the guys that get the call, right, are the guys that can get the sponsors, So we don't know if we're actually seeing some of the best drivers from local tracks because of money, right? It's all about the money, right? And a team is going to grab somebody who has a sponsor with them, And we were playing around with the idea of what if NASCAR next year decides we're going to bring back the IROC series. And we're going to grab some guys. Each team is going to grab some guys. They're going to put them in a car, and it's like a workout session. And then there's a draft. You know what I mean? So, guys with all the money wouldn't necessarily, might not get drafted. It might be, somebody who doesn't have as much money but has the talent. Is that something that you would love to see that happen, or maybe get a dialogue going with that, because it has to be we know drivers on local tracks that are fantastic drivers, and that could probably beat the crap out of Kyle Busch on a racetrack. But because he has no money, he's not in a car. So, it's going to be so hard. How much does it cost for you to drive in an ARCA race every week? How much sponsorship do you have to have?
I definitely think every driver needs backing, regardless of the talent. I do also think that NASCAR has a lot of talent as well with money. And I mean, like, there's a lot of good drivers in NASCAR. There's a lot of good drivers in Xfinity Series and in the Campbell Truck Series and even in the ARCA Series. It is really expensive. You have to have a lot of sponsorship and you have to have a lot of backing. And it's not even that sponsorship, too. You got to have a background. You got to have fans. You have to have a story. And I think that's what makes it so much better as far as the whole racing community. It's so much more than just get out there and drive on the racetrack. You have a story. You have a background. You've got family and friends. And there's so many things, So there's a lot that goes into it every week for me to get to the racetrack. And I'm sure there's a lot for every driver to get to the racetrack that goes into it.
I love the fact that you said fans, because unfortunately, there's a lot of drivers now, and, who they have their mobile homes, and Tyler has been on pit crews and everything, and there's less interaction now with the bigger guys, I'll say the big guns in the sprint series, than there is, in the Xfinity or the Craftsman Truck Series. And what I love about the drivers in the Truck Series is you guys reach out to your fans. You guys love your fans and appreciate their fans just as much as I believe Xfinity and Sprint does as well, but they just don't have as much time, and we're seeing that time lost, unfortunately, where fans saying, my gosh, I could see Kurt Busch 5 times last year, but this year I'm not seeing him at all, So never, ever, ever take your fans for granted is what I think we're trying to tell you, because we're hearing a lot of complaints from the fans lately that the drivers just aren't there anymore.
Definitely. It's all about the fans, We're loving to do what we're getting to do each week, but if they weren't coming out and supporting us, then we're not going to be at the racetracks. We're going to be sitting at home. So each time a fan reaches out to me, or autograph sessions, fan appearances, anything like that, I'm doing as much as I can to give back to them for coming out to the racetracks. And it's really cool to be able to talk to different people and hear their stories of racing and how they're involved and why they're at the racetrack and different things like that. And it's a funny thing that we're talking about this. I just received 3 autograph request envelopes in the mail today, and I'm excited to send my autograph cards out to these fans that have been following me. So definitely I do agree. It is, being fan loyal is very important in this sport.
Yes, it is. It really, really is. So you've got Pocono coming up. Has John West Townley, is he in contact with you all the time? Is he helping you? Is he, helping you with how to, take these races and how to take these tracks?
The whole team is definitely. I was just working with Athenian here at Eldora the other week, and everybody on the whole team meshes so well together, and they're so helpful. Anything I need, any question I need to ask them, they're there to answer it. They're there to make sure I need what I have to be the best that I can be. And so it's not just John West, it's everybody on the whole Athenian team. They're just there to make sure that they can get the best finishes and the driver is comfortable and happy and knows what's going on. So I definitely loved that about them at Eldora when I was working with them.
That's awesome. Tyler?
Yeah, buddy, you said one thing just a few minutes ago that I think really said a lot, that the fans need to realize. We were talking earlier about how low the fan count was at Indianapolis, and you said it best yourself. You said that, without fans in the seat, we can't do what we do. And that's exactly right. Without a fan base, NASCAR is not going to be able to continue. And I think that all these fans need to get out and get to the races. Definitely. And I just bring up a story. Me being a spectator, even through my racing career as being a driver, I went to Bristol Motor Speedway last year for the Xfinity Series race. First time being at Bristol for an Xfinity Series race. And I walk in through the tunnel, and I'm standing
in the pit road, in the pit area at Bristol Motor Speedway, and I was like, wow, this is awesome, you know?
Yep.
Just right there. And I think even Casey Kane was standing right by me because I think Sprint Cup was qualifying at the time that I had gotten there. So it was just like, holy crap, this is awesome. And NASCAR was doing different things for the fans there, and I saw a lot of fans enjoying it and everything like that. So to fans that have never been to a NASCAR race or got to experience it, or they've been there and maybe didn't have the best time, I encourage them to go back for sure, because NASCAR is trying to do a lot and make them interactive and stuff. For instance, when I was at Pocono, Sprint Cup was qualifying, and NASCAR brings all the fans to pit road to stand right there behind the drivers and the cars and the teams in the pit boxes, and I was standing right there as a spectator myself getting ready for my ARCA race, and I was like, man, this is so cool, you know? So I definitely do agree that the fans have to be involved for us to be able to do what we love.
Brady, you said the magic word for me, and I know Tyler knows what I'm talking about. You said Casey Kane. He's one of my favorite drivers because my son adores him. And when you meet someone like a Casey Kane, and Casey is very down to earth. There's nothing snobby about this guy at all. He's just, very down to earth, and he's got, a real big a dirt history and has his own team as well. Were you able to meet him at all and talk to him or any of that?
I was not. I was just standing right by him for a split second, and then I had to be moved because I was going to the place that I was going to, and it was kind of really crazy. I walked into Bristol, and I was like, didn't expect for it to be that crazy and that loud, and it was just really cool to be there.
It is one of the best. Isn't it the most intimidating track to walk underneath the tunnel, and then you're on the track and you literally feel like you're going to fall off? You're like, how
Definitely.
in the hell are these cars? How in the hell? I know there's gravity and all this, G-force stuff, but how in the hell do these cars not fall over? People, you have to. It is a bucket list item. You have to go to Bristol. You really, 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 really do. Oh my gosh, absolutely. And you're right. You're right. NASCAR, embrace your fans, bring them on, bring the drivers back out there, and give, and I'm not talking fans that are sponsors. I'm talking the fans that lay down the bucks, the fans that are paying the big bucks to see the races. I think that would help a lot. But I want to thank you so much for coming on. Brady, you've been absolutely fantastic. Tell people how they can get in touch with you, because you're going to be getting more and more fans every single week.
Definitely, I hope to. A lot of people didn't know me before this year because I took 2015 off from racing. I went to college, and then I decided I wanted to go to college because I need my education, but I still want to pursue that career in racing. So I came back out and went racing here in this season, and I've been gaining a lot of fans, and I just hope to keep gaining as many as I can and hear all their stories and see them at the racetracks each race that I'm at.
And so how can they get in touch with you? Go on your website or go on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat? What do you got? Definitely.
I have a website, BradyBoswell.com, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Brady Boswell. Definitely, I'm constantly updating about my races and my career and different things like that, so they can get in touch with me at all four of those.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. You've been an absolute delight, and I know you're one of those guys that now we're gonna make sure we see what's going on with you, and we'll hopefully have you on as a regular. Have a great week, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. It was a pleasure, and I hope to be on soon.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much. That was Brady Boswell. Oh my God, how nice was he, Tyler?
Oh, I love having these new and upcoming guys come on because, you can hear it in their voice. They're so excited about what they're getting the opportunity to do. They're absolutely loving, being in big-time racing. And the whole, nudie thing, that hadn't hit them. These guys, they're still short track racers in their heart, and I absolutely love it.
Oh, yeah, and what's really cool is that he did sim racing. He's doing, sim racing. racing, right? And not only that, but I mean, he went to college. Smart kid, very, very smart. That was incredible, and I love, he when he was talking about Bristol, he was talking about it as if he was a fan, and I think that's what we miss. Hey, Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, listen to these people that we're talking about. Listen to these drivers that we're interviewing every single week. And even the Camping World Truck Series drivers that we have them on every week. And Landon Castle is a perfect example of what the rest of these drivers need to be like, because they don't put themselves so high on a pedestal that you can't. We're in a whole different level as you. You know what I mean? It's like, come on back to your fans, embrace the fans. That's going to bring us to you. And Brian France, you need to lower your prices. I'm sorry, but you need to lower your prices as well. It's just absolutely crazy. By the way, Jimmy Johnson, it was his 1,000th, that was really hard to say, his 1,000th top 5 for Hendrick Motorsports for Jimmy Johnson this weekend. That's pretty cool. Oh, Tyler, oh my God, did you see that they spelled Jimmy Johnson's name wrong yesterday?
Oh my gosh, yes. I could not believe that somebody screwed up that bad. That is horrible.
I know. It was, there was so many things that went wrong yesterday. It was crazy. But yeah, I think there's so many people who have solutions as to how to fix NASCAR, but I don't think this news about Junior is going to help. But we watched Eldora, and that was fun. The drivers were having a blast. Tony Stewart was having a blast on his, everybody was having a blast. And the fans were having a blast. And you didn't feel like there was any seniority. You know what I mean? It was like just fun. Just nothing but pure fun. We need more dirt tracks. We need more dirt tracks for Xfinity. We need Sprint Cup. I want to see these guys in Sprint Cup drive dirt. I want to see them. You know who would beat them? Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson would beat them. Casey Kane would beat their ass.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Dirt tracks is what we need to go back to. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but, there is a dirt track here at Charlotte. It's right outside the big track, in between the big track and the drag strip. And they did get approval by NASCAR to run a Camping World Truck Series race. So the approval was set, quite a few months back, that there was approval. And from my understanding, they're waiting for it to work in the schedule. And so there is a possibility that next year you may see the trucks at Charlotte. And I think if it's not next year, it'll probably definitely be within the next couple of years.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? It needs to happen now.
I agree completely.
We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back.
Even Milli Vanilli thinks we're hot. WBLZ Sports.
Every sport has its own aura about it. For me, it's racing. It's being at the racetrack where you can hear the roll of thunder that is the engines, the smell of rubber in the air. This passion for racing, it's in my blood. I was born into it.
Who does Casey Kane have to blow in order to get a good engine?
Monday. Join Tyler Jordan and Robyn Vandenberg as they cover all things racing with pit reporters spanning the globe. Bump and Run Radio, 6:30 on WBLZ Sports.
And we are back. That was such a fun
Are
commercial
you
to
too
make.
good for your home? Answer me! We've got your answers.
So I want to tell everybody,
WBLZ
our
Sports.
next guest is going
We've
to
got-
be Davey Hamilton Jr. He's going to be calling in a few minutes. But I want to tell you all what this, you have to read this thing. #1 non-wing sprinter driver for Beast Enterprises. He's the number 114 super modified driver for Muldoon. These are what are the driver numbers. This is his car numbers. So he drives the number 1 non-wing sprinter driver for Beast Enterprises. He drives the number 14 super modified driver for Muldoon Motorsports. He drives the number 45 wing sprinter driver for GT Motorsports, the number 9 Minter driver, and he's the Indy Lights testing driver, and he's hoping to be a full-time competitor in 2017. He's also an ARCA testing driver. This kid's busy.
this kid does it all, and he's not just driving it. He's winning in these cars, and he's definitely somebody that everybody needs to be watching. I'm sure he's got a target on his back. Everybody that he's beaten saying, "God, I wish I was that guy." But he's doing everything he needs to be doing. The kid can't do anything else. To be noticed. I mean, he's dominating.
Exactly. And, just even getting the interaction back and forth with him, to set up, him for a guest, he is a sweetheart. He's an absolute sweetheart. And, super nice guy. Can't wait to get him on. He'll be on in a few minutes. And it's this guy, and Brady. It's these guys that we need. We need them. Like, we need more of them. It's like you and I are like doing the best we can to save this sport. Save our sport. We know who you all can. And Tyler, get your ass in a freaking race car, man.
I know.
I say it all the time.
I'm working my butt off to try to get back in one. I've said it a million times. I'm just a little broke country boy. I'm needing some sponsorship. I need a little bit of help. The car's almost there, people. We're very close. Could probably race this weekend if we had the funds to do it. It's one of those things. Unfortunately, the car's sitting there on jack stands, almost ready to go. Unfortunately, that's kind of a problem that's happened across the country. Especially here in North Carolina, we're seeing car counts fall. There's not just one racetrack, but racetracks across the state and up to Virginia, And, that's a shame. We're used to seeing 20 to 25 late model cars, and now we're seeing 8.
That's nuts.
But the cars are out there. The tracks just have to realize, these racers need some help, do something to help get us out there. And, that they're all wondering, where the cars at, the cars are out there. Unfortunately,
and the money is out there too, Tyler. I'm so tired of hearing that the economy is horrible. No, a few years ago the economy was horrible. We're on an upswing now, and the economy is getting better. You know what I mean? So, there's businesses. There's a lot of small businesses that have opened up, and and your grandfather, Pete Stewart, the legendary Pete Stewart, even said, I have a race car right now I could be driving in, but I don't have the money to do it. When we can't get Pete Stewart to drive, there's a problem.
Yeah, that's a shame. This guy, he's been racing since he was 18 years old. Whenever,
right.
And this was way back. This is whenever these people used to race horse and buggy. He started out on the cobblestone highways, and he had a little horse and this little makeshift wood wagon. And he was just whipping the shit out of this horse, and he was winning races too. I mean, don't get me wrong, the little old man was winning races way back when. But he had to forge his signature, his mom's signature, to race his first race, and he didn't tell her about it until like 30 years later. They had to have a parental consent to get into a race car at 18 back then. And so he forged his mom's signature. He went racing. He was the classic badass, from back then. And he still is, He may be old and white-headed, but he's still one of the baddest guys out there. And, unfortunately, like I said, we've had to park our race cars this year. We hadn't had a chance to get them out of the shop yet.
Oh, no. He actually made me go into his race car when I was there last year, and I don't know. I don't know how you all do it. I really don't. So you're so scrunched in there, and you can't see anything. I mean, you're literally just putting your eyes back one side and to the other side. You can see ahead of you. You can't really see what's happening in the back. It's a little nuts. I do not know how you do it. I really do not know how you do it.
Well, one thing about it, it's definitely a tight, confined area anyway. But, we do, kind of custom fit us, to the driver. And that's one thing you see all the way across the board from short track racing to cup racing. They do it the same way. But, you mentioned you can't see anything out of them. And now just imagine putting on a helmet and some type of neck restraint system. When you put a Hans device on, you have about an inch to the left and an inch to the right that you can look. And then other than that, you're done. And you're definitely putting all the faith in the world on the spotter and just hoping that he's watching where you're going.
I don't know how. I don't. I mean, my husband Scott freaks out if I ever have to drive. And I am not a bad driver. I am not a bad driver at all. I'm a very good driver. But he just says I just get a little freaky sometimes. Because I'll be like, I'm one of those people, if I see in my peripheral vision somebody that looks like they're not going to stop at the stop sign, I'll, be like, a little bit. And it drives them crazy. So, so I told him, well, you're just going to have to never drink alcohol if you ever want to go someplace because I will drive if you're drinking. So, but he hates it when I drive. Absolutely hates it when I drive for anything. And I'm not even a bad driver. I'm a good driver. I think I would be really good in the NASCAR circuit. I have a question for you.
Okay.
A friend of mine is doing a book on Danica Patrick, and she seems to have changed her shtick a little bit. Last year, we were seeing all the yoga poses in the bikini, and this year, we're not seeing that. We're not seeing much of her, actually. What do you think happened there? Do you think that because when she was putting these pictures out there, people were saying, yeah, that's great, but can you win a race? You know what I mean? Do you think that may have had something to do with the fact that we aren't seeing, her post those? She's a little quiet this year.
One thing about it, when Danica came into the sport, she almost came in with the same pressure as Dale Jr. They put a stupid high bar for her. And she's a great driver. I'm not taking anything from her. She has won Indy race. It was a fuel mileage race. She still got a trophy. She was good enough to put herself in that position. She's had some good races in NASCAR, don't get me wrong. But I do think that, she's finally started to quiet down. She's matured a little bit. Everyone's used to having Danica there. When she first came in, it was, oh my God, there's a woman in NASCAR and she's hot. And yes, she is hot. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Yeah, I enjoyed the yoga pictures and all that. I got a kick out of that, just like you did, Casey. But anyway, she has got used. Everyone's accepted her now. She's got used to the sport, and she's actually gotten better. Every caution that comes out, it's not Danica. It's been a while since you saw Danica just absolutely destroy a car on her own for no reason.
Right.
She definitely got through a learning curve, and she's starting to improve.
Yeah, and so is Ricky. Ricky is well. I mean, he's getting up there, and Eric Almirola is somebody that seems to be in the top 10 or the top 15, every week. And like I said, Kyle Larson, Kyle Larson is so close, it's not even funny. So, I'm just waiting for Kyle Larson. I was so bored yesterday watching. This sounds horrible, but I was so bored watching the Indy 500, not the Indy 500, the Brickyard 400, that I was actually shopping on eBay while I was listening to the scanner, while I was doing the race thread. Okay, see, I'm a multitasker. I did all of that. And unfortunately, I didn't buy a Kyle Larson t-shirt, but I did buy about 4 or 5 dresses. So Scott's really mad at me about that. And that all happened in a matter of like 10 minutes. I mean, it was during a pit stop. Within some people were getting 4 tires. I was buying 4 dresses on eBay. It's just a few kits. It's like buy it now, confirm and pay, boom, done. So it was pretty funny. And it was weird because in the thread, everybody this is the same as the Xfinity race. It was the, it was the Kyle Busch, show for the Xfinity race, and the same thing happened yesterday. And I love NASCAR, and I'm not lying in that commercial. I was born into it. Tyler, you were born into it. You just happened to be born into it in the South, and I was born into it, in the North, and I can't stand to see what's happening. It hurts. It's sad. I love this sport. Absolutely love this sport. And seeing what is happening to it, and I don't really know where to put my finger on it, because I think there are so many aspects of it that has accumulated, that has made it to the place of where it is now. How many people can you guys get into Bowman Gray a week? Like 20,000?
Somewhere around in there, 20 to 25 is actually kind of a normal number. They usually have, at least 15,000 people. And, that's, unfortunately, that's more people that were in Indianapolis this past Sunday. And like you said, I love the sport. I've always been passionate about the sport. I was born into it, born out here in the heart of it. And just seeing the sport dwindle away to what it is now, it's really depressing. And they don't come out and say, NASCAR's falling. But everyone sees it. It's an open problem. Everyone sees it.
Yeah.
And there's so many different aspects that's causing it. Everyone, they go there trying to change a package, change an aero package, or try to change a format. Race format and the aero packages are not the answer to the problem.
No. It's got to be a complete overhaul of bring the fans back. You got to do something to bring the fans back, and it has to be the drivers. The drivers are the ones that need to ask for the fans to come back, not Brian France. I want to see drivers, and I mean this in a way in which I don't want it to be a fake. I don't want it to be a 60-second commercial from the drivers asking us to come back. I want them to take that 15 seconds they get when a microphone is stuck in their face, and I want them to say, hey, we miss you. I miss you. I miss seeing my fans. Can you come back? You know what I mean? If somebody had enough balls to say that, let's say Kevin Harvick does it, would he get fined? Would he get fined for doing that?
I don't think so, because it's something that needs to happen. Brian France sees it needs to happen. Take a few seconds, guys. I mean, instead of sipping on your Coke, drinking your Monster, trying to get your checkpoints, all that, stop doing crap like that and reach out to these fans. That's what it takes. And don't just feel like, hey, y'all come back and see us. Like, you need to sit down. You need to reach out heartfelt and actually mean it, and actually do something to insinuate them coming. Because if they wanted to come, they'd be there. I don't think it's the gate prices. The gate prices is high. They've been high for a while, but people were still coming. You see Bristol, you were on a waiting list if you wanted a ticket. Now you can go get one on race day. It's the cars now. A monkey can drive them. I'm not taking that away from anybody. We've got so much downforces on these cars that, it's not the same. It's not the same car. It's that hard to drive. It's wrecking every lap. But, somehow or another you can hold on to it. It's not that anymore. You see so much more fuel mileage. You see so much more people just cruising around with one hand on the wheel. That's not racing.
Right.
That's not racing at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the mile-and-a-half tracks over and over and over and over and over again. Should they even be at the Brickyard 400? I mean, should they even be at Indy?
I don't think so. It's like I said, it's a very iconic place. Indianapolis is special, but Indianapolis is not ours. We're kind of on someone else's territory, I feel like, when we go there. It is special, but the Indy 500 is good racing. What we do there is, a snooze fest. I fell asleep just about Daytona is our Indianapolis. That's something that we brought. That's ours.
Right.
And,
Right.
We put on good shows there most of the time. Charlotte's an okay mile and a half. Charlotte and Texas, I like those. Kansas, Iowa, Chicago, all these places, they turn out to be a fuel mileage race almost every time. 80% of the times we go there, it's a fuel mileage race that either Kyle Busch or Keselowski's went out and they rode around and dominated, and everybody else ran out of gas or something stupid like that.
Right.
You don't see the hard racing anymore.
No.
Not at these type tracks.
And you see the same people. I mean, only now are we seeing, like I said, the Eric Almirollas and the Kyle Larsons and that. But other than that, it's always, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, who's always up there, Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin. There you go.
I mean, it's
Jimmy
pretty
Johnson.
ridiculous because, I mean, it's, at the end of the show every week we pick a winner. I'm sure if you went back and listened to all of our shows, that between the four of us, we pick the same four drivers every week. And usually somebody actually gets it. You don't see the different drivers. When's the last time Jamie McMurray won a race? There for a while he was hot.
I can't
he was up
remember.
there doing stuff.
I can't remember.
You've got all these guys that are good race drivers, but they don't quite have the equipment. They don't quite have everything like they used to.
Okay, well, we got Davey Hamilton Jr. on the line. We're gonna talk to him real quick, and then we're gonna make a date for next week, so he can be our first guest next week. Davey, we just literally read off your whole resume, my dear. So everybody knows what you race, where you race, how you have much time to do anything. How are you?
I am great. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing good. So how was it this weekend? I saw you were racing. How many times did you race this weekend?
Well, the races went all right. We got the win on Thursday night, and then that was in Meridian, Idaho. And then Friday we had to spend the whole day driving up to Washington. And then Saturday we had a 10,000 to win race, and I ended up third there. And then I actually just got back from a race yesterday, and we didn't have a good night, but we ended up ninth. And we had quite a bit going on this weekend, but it's a part of it.
You were saying that, for someone who races as much as you do, how is it for you to try and get sponsors? I mean, is it really tough still out there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the one thing I have an advantage on is kind of my name. With my dad being who he is and, racing an IndyCar and everything like that, it helps me out in a way. But that's the sad thing about racing right now is that it's all about money. And that's kind of the hard part. My dad's helping me a lot with teaching me things about how to get money and how to go approach sponsors and companies and stuff like that. But it's still hard out there. You could just go at it 24/7, and you may hear back, may not. So it's hard.
Yeah. And it's kind of good that your dad isn't giving you everything. You know what I mean? So people can't say, "Oh, well, he's just writing on his dad's name." You know what I mean? He's doing it probably the Dale Earnhardt way. Where he's telling his son, "You got to earn it." And tons of respect for that. What do you got going on this weekend? Are you racing this weekend?
No, actually, I have a weekend off, and then
wow.
It's surprising. And then next week I have a race in California, and then right after that I have to fly to New York for a few weeks to race super modified, and then I'm just busy from then on for a few months. And luckily, I have help with people telling me where I have to be and where I have to go because I forget. It is so much going on, So, but yeah, like you said, the fact my dad not helping me out as much as I'd like. In a way, a lot of people gain more respect for me because, a lot of people don't realize, but they think, I just drive for my dad. But in reality, there's not a single car that I drive for my dad right now. Every car that I drive is for other teams, and they hire me to drive their cars. So, I mean, it helps for who I am, and, they're all friends and everything, but I don't drive for my dad anymore. But the good thing is that he's good with approaching sponsors, and he teaches me stuff like that. So.
Well, that's the way to be. Hey, I know we had to cut this short, but will you come back next week?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be perfect.
All right, awesome. We'll have you on first thing, so there will be no.
All right, yeah.
All right. You
Yeah,
have a
sorry
great
about that.
week.
All right.
No problem at all. No problem at all. Thank you so much. That was Davey Hamilton Jr. Got a little crisscrossed on phone numbers and all that, so we're so glad we were able to get him in. And he's right. He's right, Tyler. You know, he's doing the right thing. He's getting hired by other drivers. You know, other teams.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. You know, I've said it a million times. That's what you got to do. And, you know, he's put himself out there. You know, he's proved that he's more than capable of winning races. And he's traveling all over the country, and he's winning in every kind of car he sits down in.
California, New York, I mean, you name it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, you know, I'm going to talk to him about it next week, of course. But, you know, you're going to see this kid in the ARCA car. You're going to see him in a truck. You know, it's not going to happen before much longer, I think. He's super good, and he's talented, and like I said, he's winning races, and it sounds like he's got some backing behind him, too. So they're definitely going to have to watch out for him coming up.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to put in our Pocono picks. So we're going to. I want Carolyn and Michaela. I want you to message us. Carolyn is our producer. Michaela's, you know, back there as well. You know, helping Carolyn with producing us. I want them to give us their picks. Who's your pick for Pocono?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go on a limb here. You guys are never going to guess this one, but I'm going to say Kyle Busch is going to win again.
Oh, my God. Michaela says Casey Kane. Carolyn says Stewart. I'm trying to remember. Who won last year? Martin Truex Jr. won last year. And let me see. We've got 2 minutes left. Okay. You also got a big boo on that, Tyler.
Oh, of course.
I'm going to say Harvick. Harvick's overdue. Harvick is overdue.
He's in neither one. It's okay.
He's overdue. And yes, that's a little bit of an there's a little emotional heart there for Harvick. We, of course, want to thank all of our guests tonight. We're going to find out what happened to Derek Stoltz. He stood us up. No, there's a problem. We're gonna reschedule him. So we want to thank also Brady Boswell. We want to thank Davey Hamilton Jr. He will be back next week, people. And, of course, we want to thank WBLZ. We want to thank all of our pit reporters that are out there working their butts out there for us. Of course, Michaela and Carolyn. Stay tuned for all of the stuff that's going to be happening on August 5th and 6th at Bowman Gray. We want to thank Kenneth and Robyn Rittner-Snell, her husband Jay is out there taking pictures for us. And, of course, we want to thank all of our syndicated stations that also do a really good job of having this show on every week. Thank you, everybody. We are Checkered Flag and out.